Taking decisive action moves an issue forward. It is positive and action-orientated. It helps you to take control of the situation and contribute well in the workplace. It helps build resilience. Understanding how you make decisions at work and why it can be difficult sometimes will help you improve your ability to be decisive. This video will help you with two different skills. First, to understand how we use our rational and emotional thinking when we make decisions. And second, what blockers can get in the way of deciding. The aim is to help you make a decision, take action, and move forward. You may make the wrong decision, but learn from it and add to your experience so that you make the right decision next time. Good decision-making builds confidence, positive thinking, and resilience. When making a decision, we use both emotional thinking and rational thinking to come to the right answer. Good choices are based on clear, logical thinking, as well as gut feel. However, it is important to be able to identify a decision that is made based on an emotion, such as fear or anger. A decision made in the heat of the moment, without rational thought, can be dangerous. A totally emotional decision is typically very fast. It is an automatic reaction to a situation. Here's an example. You come across one of your work team lying on the ground. Your emotional brain kicks in instantly. You are worried and rush to help. Your reaction is automatic. Unfortunately, you may be rushing towards a hazard, electricity perhaps, or an atmosphere problem that has affected your workmate. Your rational brain, once it is engaged, takes the time to think things through and assess the situation, looks for hazards and approaches carefully. An emotional response is often immediate. It can be triggered by our fight or flight responses in situations where we feel at risk. We react without thinking. The chemicals that rush to our brain when we panic or are under pressure take a few moments to pass before we can think calmly and rationally. So, we need to remember to take a few seconds and give our rational brains the time to assess a situation before we rush in. Sometimes making a decision is difficult because there are questions to answer, problems to solve, or things we are uncertain about. These are called blockers. I don't have enough information. I don't want to look stupid in front of my workmates. I'm worried about what will happen if the decision is wrong. I have a feeling it just doesn't feel right. I don't know whether I should make any decision. Here's an example. Your supervisor assigns a job to you. At the toolbox talk, he asks if you fully understand or have any questions. You keep quiet because you think the rest of the team will laugh if you ask a question. You have been on the job for a while and you feel you should know what to do. You start the job, but you are unclear about the sequence of some of the steps. You check the risk assessment, but it is still not clear to you. You are anxious. You want to get it right, but you don't want to look stupid. You realize that if you get it wrong, it could affect the operation. It could have safety implications. You stop and think about the task. You know it is important to get it right. You decide to call the supervisor and check what to do. You get the confirmation and do the job safely and correctly. You will remember next time. If you learn to identify the blockers, you can work through the problem and offer a good solution. Improving your decision-making will help you to build resilience. In your group, please discuss your answers to the following questions. Think about the choices you make and why you make them. Are you using rational thinking or emotional thinking or a mix? What are the blockers to making decisions for you? How can you overcome them? What do others say about taking decisive action?
Well, if it's knowledge that I have ready and available, and I'm 100% sure that it can't be done the way they want to go about it, I make a quick decision. In other cases, I'll have to tell them to stand by, to give me a little time to go through paperwork, procedures and that, and I'll get back to them.
To make decisions, you have to study the fact what kind of decisions you are making that you will not regret. So you have to step back and study what kind of decision you're going to make.
Well, that kind of happens all the time as a diving supervisor, because you always come across things which aren't in the procedure, and we don't really have the control to make a decision about changes to the procedure there and then. We normally have to go through an MOC process.
I don't feel well about doing things wrong, you know, and I look very swiftly why I can prevent it. I feel embarrassed even when others don't blame me for something.
I think that the difficult to make a decision is that don't have enough information, and you always try to minimize the possibility of the error. But if you don't have all input, it's difficult to do it.
It's partially down to experience. Any new person that joins any company or any job, they're always a bit wary to ask. It's only when you start feeling comfortable in your team, you'll ask certain questions.
Making a decision can be easy if you know what you are making the decision about, you know, if you know the background to it. If it's a difficult decision to make, then there could be a lot of aspects, and obviously some of it you don't know.
I'm a quick thinker, so I think things through first before I make decisions. You first think worst case scenario, and then you bring the positive things of this also up.
First you think it over, and second what I usually do, I speak with somebody.
It's usually difficult to make decisions for new guys who are coming on board. They have a lack of confidence, and this is a reason for take correct decision.
Always help each other, to solve the problems, to make it more easier.
Yeah, something like in the way to say count to 10, take a step back, and then evaluate, see what best thing to do. So just take a little bit more time for yourself, think it over, and then take the best thing to do.
If it's a safety issue and I get it wrong, yeah, I feel real bad. And well, that is one of the things that I wouldn't mind. I would never ever think twice about looking foolish or whatever. And in the past, I have called my supervisor, not this one, but on another vessel, out of bed twice to have, you know, some backup and some feedback from his side.
For me, it's quite simple because we have procedures in place how to deal with the complicated problems, the complex problems, and I just stick to them. And that's great help for me because the company has already taken care of all of the difficulties I might possibly face in my life. So
we had a stressful situation where we lost one side of the switchboard, and we had divers in the water at the time, and it required quick decision and also clear thinking to sequence the proper alarms to bring the diver safely back on board.
Yeah, if I have a problem, I try to solve myself first. I go to my chief engineer or assistant chief engineer and talking to them about my problem. Okay. So maybe they can solve. So maybe they can think a good way for solve my problem.
I never think that safety decisions are difficult to make, and I would suggest that that would be the same to all of the crew that are on board 7 Atlantic.
Yeah, I think sometimes your brain can kind of become a bit jumbled, so I find writing things down helps me. I like to write everything down and tick them off as I go, or reprioritise them if I need to. Probably turn to friends and family. Some people can give you a different outlook on things and make it seem not quite so significant in the grand scheme of things. So I think talking about things definitely helps me.
You can develop your resilience by becoming a better decision maker. 1. Take the time to think things through. 2. If in doubt, discuss it with the right people. 3. Gather the right information. 4. Don't ignore the warning signs.